Welcome to our channel. I hope you are doing well. So today we are going to discuss about some of the string manipulations. Like you should be knowing how to iterate over the string and how to iterate to each and every character of the string, and you can manipulate it because you might be needing in your DSA interviews or in your normal iOS interviews, because you could be asked two pointer approach or you could be asked some of the string manipulation questions, and here the interviewer might be checking like how much grip or the grasp you are having over the Swift programming language. You could do it in C and Java because string manipulations in string and in C and Java are very easy. You just have to directly go over that particular index and then you can just write s at I is equals to simple. But in Swift we do not have this indices option, because we know like every index or every character in the string might be of different length due to their Unicode or uniscalar grapheme lecture culture. Due to that we are not sure, like let's say we have, because Swift allows us in string to add any kind of emoji, also to add different kind of languages. So each character at that particular, let's say this is an info icon button, this might be taking 8 bytes, okay, and whereas A would be taking as 4 bytes if we are going with UFT32. Okay, in that scenario, when you are having different kinds of size of your each character in a string, you cannot iterate over them using your indices, because that is not possible, since the address, let's say we have two strings and one is A and another one is an emoji. Okay, this is at index at A04, and then we have this, let's say, of 8 bits, so we would be having this after at 108, and then B character after 8 bits would be at 116 position. So you cannot go in the I format like, hey, go at this for A at I, and no, that is not possible. So in this scenario you need what you basically need some indices approach that Swift gave us by default. We can use them and we can iterate over the strings, because let's say if a interviewer gives you a question, tell whether the string is palindrome or not. If you are using two pointer approach, you need to know in any way you have to iterate over the string. So in those scenarios, let's say you are going for a sliding window option. So in the sliding window, if it is a character, so you have to make a window of size 2. In that scenario, you need to know your pointers, and for that you need to iterate over a string. That couldn't be possible if you are going, you can say, hey, why you are wasting time, you can take a array and in that array just convert the string particularly to the array, simple, done, you are done. But you are using an extra space complexity, big O of n, whatever the size of the string is. That is not a good approach. Let's see how we can do it override. So let's start again, and I will be showing you a basic example like how you can do. So whenever we have any string, let's say I am giving a question, like let's say our string is ABC, and you have to encode it and make each character to its +1. So let's say A, after A comes B, after B comes C, after C comes D. So we are just increasing their character by 1 position. Simple. And what happens if my string is A, B, Z? In that scenario, A turns out to be B, B turns out to be C, and Z would turn out to A, because we are going in a loop scenario, because A to Z and then Z comes after that, we have to come back to A. Simple. So in how you will be doing these approaches, that's an important thing to know. So here also you would be need to see, you can do it you would be saying why you are wasting your time. Use a for loop, just iterate. Correct, you can use a for loop and iterate, but I want to show you how you can go to each pointer wise using that particular index and do it. So in that scenario, what you have basically like how many iterations you want to perform. That is basically like 2 times you want to increase the character size, or you have to increase the character size by 4. So that is the first thing. So like A comes out to be B, and then you want it to be C. Simple. So directly you can increase the length. Okay, so it's like I have done it twice just in order to give you a very good picture, but you can directly give it like whatever the square value is -2, and then you are just directly increasing that particular character. So let's see how it is done. So you will be, this is your, let's say, string. Okay, so let's start with the particular example. So I would be taking a very basic one, let's say A, B and C. So these are your strings. Okay, so you would be needing one pointer, that is a starting pointer. In order to get the starting pointer, you have a function in the string that says start.Index. This gives you the starting index of your string. So here is your pointer J. Okay, once you get your pointer J, you can just directly get like what is the sky value of this particular character. So now once you get the start index, gives you the address of that particular string character. So now let's say it is at 104 position. So now you can go and ask like, hey, at 104 position, tell me what is the character here. So here the character is A. So you get it A. once you get a, so what you are doing, you are just taking the sky value. So sky value we know from small a to small z is from 97 to 122. Okay, so here the value is not 122, so we do not have to go, we can just directly implement +1. So simply a would turn out to be, we have first increased the address, so address has been increased of that, but sky value of a has been increased, so it has comes out to be 98. So here 98 we would be saying, hey, now this 98 turn it into uniscalar, and then you can just make that particular character. Check at 98 sky value, what is the character? A character turns out to be small b. So here the small b you are just adding to a temporary string. So let's say our temporary string is empty and it will have b now. So now whatever we have, we can assign it to str. Okay, that's a pretty simple thing. We can give it right away, and then we can make this temporary string as empty. Simple. This is the last thing out of when we are coming out of while loop. Okay, so now when this part is done, what you are saying to the compiler, see, you have to come to the next point. So how you can come? This is the main line, j is equals to start index after j. So str.index after j, it says like whatever in the string comes after 104, the string has wherever the character after 104, give me that address. Let's say hypothetically b is at 110. So now j will have what? 110 in it. So j will have after 11, what is at 11 after 104? It is 110. You will have this value. Now j is 110, so it will go again and just grab the character what is at str at j. You can get that value, so it is at b. So now this b you can turn it into a sky value. A sky value of b comes out to be 98, and then so on so forth, the things goes on. So the main thing that you need to get is, in order to get the starting index, you have to use that str.startIndex to get where the string is starting. Okay, and then in order to move to the next, like when we do it I++ or I++j in Java or in C++ in other programming languages to increase the pointer, here we are doing by str.index after j. That is the way we can do it in Swift. Simple. So this is how your code will run. So let's go ahead and just run this code at once so that you guys have an idea. So let's run it. And then it is, so we have two iterations, so you can see the output is C, B, C, D, B. Pretty obvious, A turns out to be C, D turns out to be D, and then B. So this is a simple thing that you can go ahead and do it. Okay, so you need your two iterations, whatever t times you have, and then you can go ahead. Okay, now you said like you are doing very like iterations, so we can do it right away with this approach also. Let me just run. So we can use for loop once we do not have to go in every depth of the address. You can just directly go for each character. You can iterate over each character of the string, and you can do the same thing. But I just wanted to show like we can go and do through the indexes also. So the output is same. Okay, so now let's say if you have a palindrome. Okay, you said like okay, in encoding, decoding, we do not require that particular thing. But here you need in the palindrome. How you will check in the palindrome? You say like okay, yeah, I will do one thing. I will first reverse a string and store it, like first reversal of the string, and then simply you can store it str reverse, and then you will reverse and then you will compare. You can do that, but you are using an extra space of it. So at in place, what you can do, simply you can just directly start. You see, in order to get the end index of, you cannot directly go like str.count and then you can give it like -1 like, no, that is not possible. In order to get the last index, what you have to do, you have to check like whatever the end index of that particular string is, we need a index 1. See, s.endIndex will give us what? It will give us the, let's say this is my string and the end index is 104. So it will give me one outside the end index. Let's say this character was around 4 bits, so it will give me 104 as the end index. So I do not want like out of bound. So if you directly go and run that s.endIndex and you put that directly over here, it will give index out of bound error, nothing found. The compiler will crash the code. Why? Because at 108 there is nothing. If you write like s is equals to s.endIndex, you write it here, your code will crash. Why? Because there is nothing. So in order, what does end index give? It gives us +1 position after the last character of the string. So you get like, in order to get the last position, you have to put it like this, s.index before. So what does this gives? It gives us like whatever the end index, like let's say if you are at this particular position 108, you are saying I want an index before this character. So at 108, what is before in the string? The last character. So this is how you can get the last character of the string. Okay, or let's say you are at here in this position B, and this is 105, and you want what is the first character, or let's say you are having these many things and you want like what is before B. In order to get that what is before B, you have to give like this S.Index, and let's say you know particularly what is the value of B, where B is sitting, so you can just directly give what is before B, 105. It will give you whatever is things A, B, C, whatever values are there. So this is a way in order to get the end index of the string. That is very important. So now you have your end index, you have your start index. So what you have to do, you just have to check while left is not less than right. If while left is less than right, you can go and iterate over the loops. Simple. We know like how we are doing the palindromes. Okay, so let's keep it simple. God. Okay, no, sorry, my bad. So this is not the example for this. So let's take it this only, race car. So now you are having your race car, race. So here are your indices. So now in order, where will left will be? Left will be start index. So okay, and here your right would be pointing here now. So what you are doing, you are saying if both the characters are same, correct, you can just directly move. In order to move your character, C plus plus left we can do directly in Java, but here what we will do after. We are saying after left. What is after left? It will directly give us this. So A is now here. And in order to get before, as I told you, we were doing this only, S.Index before. In order to get the particular, I am saying like I want a index that is before, right? Move it to me there. So here is your right now. The right is now pointing here. So now it will check for these. After that, you can use after in order to iterate forward, and in order to iterate backward, you can use right. So this is how you are doing your string manipulations. This is how you can do, because these are the main things. You need to basically, if you are going with any Swift code, for strings you need 4-5 things only: a start index and the last index, and in order to fetch any of the things, in order to move ahead, increment and decrement. These are the 4 things you have to keep in mind in order to get your string values, or in order to fetch the string values or abstract them. So this is all for the video. If you like this video, do subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for the watching.